Jane or Terry Smith, for instance, at the carnival over there they had last week.
You were there 2 nights, were you
2
not?
nights, right. Mm-hmm.
And you've also received quite a bit of mail, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I received some letters and 3 cards this morning. I received one from Pocahontas Old Fiddler Club this morning.
Well, I suppose they wanted to extend their congratulations to the new champion.
Well, it's congratulations to them for getting my congratulations.
Well, I know it's nice to hear from these folks. And you also told me that you've heard from some of your friends and relatives down around Albion and Moravia, where you were raised.
That's right, I have.
Well, we hope that a lot of those folks are listening in tonight. Now, Mrs. Locke, we know that you're very proud of 3 facts. You are 68 years old. You've been married 52 years, and you're a grandmother and a great-grandmother.
That's right.
How many children do you have?
4.
And grandchildren?
6 grandchildren.
And then what about those great-grandchildren?
3 great-grandchildren.
You have quite a family when they all gather around Grandma's table, don't you?
That's right.
Getting back to the championship which you won at the Iowa State Fair, how many years have you been competing in the Fiddler's Contest?
Well, it's around 15 years.
And how did you place in other years?
Well, all the way from the 6th was the lowest I got in placing, and from 5th, 6th,
And
4th.
Up to 4th at one time, I believe.
Yes.
And now this year, the champion.
Champion.
Would you tell us how you became interested in this State Fair Fiddler's Contest? Would you tell us how you became interested in this State Fair Fiddler's Contest?
Well, in 1937, I was down at the Old Fiddler's Contest, and Mrs. Eva Miller won that day, at first, was a champion, and I always hoped that I could be in there with her, but my daughter says, well, Mother, I'm going to send your name in to the old to the fiddlers down there and get you entered. So from that on, I've been entering into the contest.
And I believe your daughter told me that you made a trip out to California just before the State Fair this year and made it a point to be back so that you could enter the competition.
Oh, that's right. And I hurried back to get it.
It must be very gratifying to you to know that you are only the 2nd woman in the history of the State Fair Fiddler's Contest to win the championship. Of course, the other lady being Mrs. Eva Miller of Des Moines, as you said, back in 1937. Mrs. Locke, we're anxious to hear more music from that fiddle, also more about your life as a fiddle player and your life as a mother and a grandmother, but let's get along with that music now. Would you play one of your favorite tunes for us?
Oh, yeah.
I believe that many of these fiddle selections which you play, possibly they do have names, but either you have forgotten them or else somebody just wrote them and forgot to put a name on them.
Well, I think I just forgot them, I guess.
How many years have you been playing the fiddle, Mrs. Locke?
Oh, ever since I was 9 years old.
9 years old. I know there's an interesting story about your learning to play the fiddle. Would you tell that story for us?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but...
We have the time and we want to listen.
Well, when I was around 9 years old, as I said, I started to play. I wanted to play the fiddle so bad, and my father didn't want us kids to play with his fiddle, so he always kept it under the bed. But when he went to town different times, it was horse and buggy days, them days.
Sure.
So it took him quite a little while to get town and back, so when he come home, when he'd go to town, I'd have the fiddle out, and I learned quite a little bit. When he'd come home, one time he said, well, who's been meddling with my fiddle? So we had to kind of give in, and the guy said I had. And so from that on, he said, well, you can, if you want to play, just go ahead and play, and it's all right with me. So from that on, I played.
And then I suppose your father, who also played the fiddle, was very helpful in seeing that you got a good start.
Well, that's right.
And here you are today, the 1952 Iowa State champion fiddle player. You have played in public quite often, haven't you? I know you've played at various dances in past years.
Yes.
How were you paid for those dances?
Well, so he just asked me to play, and I'd go and play for them, and
they pass the hat?
And they passed the hat.
And according to how generous people felt that night, that's the amount of money you received. Maybe quite a bit, and maybe not very much.
Anyway, I enjoyed it.
Sure you did, and I hope that many of those people who dance to your music are listening in tonight and have found out that you are the state champion fiddle player. Now, I suppose that you enjoy listening to square dance music and hillbilly music on the radio, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And you told me that you tune into WHO Barn Dance quite often.
I do, yes.
And it goes without saying that you enjoy the fiddle playing of Slim Hayes and Uncle Twid down there at WHO.
Yes, I do. Uh-huh.
In fact, I think you've been on the same program, on the same stage with Slim Hayes, haven't you?
Well, I was out to West Des Moines a time or two at our old fiddler's party out there, a birthday party at Frank Davis. And Slim happened to be there with us, so I wish I could play like Slim does.
Well, both of those people, Slim Hayes and Uncle Twid, are dandy fiddle players. And since you have listened to their music for so many years, Mrs. Locke, and taken a few notes from their playing, I think it would be only fair that we turn the tables on those two boys. I think they're listening in tonight. We'll just play a tune especially for Uncle Twid and for Slim Hayes down there at WHO. What's this one's going to be?
Turkey in the hay.
You come from quite a fiddle-playing family, don't you?
Yes, I have. I have two brothers. I had two brothers that played, and all back on my, I have cousins and all that are quite musicians.
And I understand that those brothers have won fiddle contests, but never a state contest.
Yeah, that's right.
And we have one of the young members of the family here in the living room tonight, and I know that you hope that young fellow is going to become a fiddle player.
Yeah, that's Arthur.
And Grandma will be happy to give him lessons, won't she?
That's right.
Let's talk about that fiddle you're playing tonight. How old is that, approximately?
Well, I imagine around 100 years old.
Do you have more than one?
Yes, there's several here. They're not all mine, but different ones bring them in for me to tune up and play on and keep them in shape.
And I suppose that if anybody has an old fiddle around his house that he's not using anymore, it's just sort of a dust collector, you'd be happy to get it, wouldn't you?
That's right, I would.
Oh, another question we want to ask you about in connection with your winning the state championship. Now you will be much in demand for personal appearances, I suppose. Are you willing to go out and perform at celebrations?
Yes.
How can the folks contact you?
Why, by telephone, 70.
And by writing, what's your box number?
So it's 64.
In Woodford.
Yes.
And you'll be willing to go out and show the folks really what a champion can do with that fiddle.
That's right.
Do you think that the violins or the fiddles they're making today are as good quality as this one you have, which is about 100 years old?
Well, I don't think so.
You will stick with the old
The old ones, yes.
The older, the better.
That's right.
Well, now, Mrs. Locke, since
going to keep on trying.
Well, good for you. Now we have about 1 minute of time remaining, so we'd like to have you strike up a very brief tune on that fiddle. Tuned in a little bit late tonight, we're going to explain again that we've been broadcasting from the home of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Locke in Woodward, Iowa. Right here in the living room, we've set up our transcribing equipment, and we've been visiting with the state champion fiddle player of Iowa. Mrs. Locke won the state championship at the state fair 2 weeks ago. Mrs. Locke is 68 years old. She's a great-grandmother, and she's been married for 52 years, a wonderful lady, and we've enjoyed meeting her. Our visit here, Mrs. Locke, has been very pleasant tonight. I know the town of Woodward is proud of you, and I'm sure that all Iowa is pleased to call you the state champion fiddler. Next week, Hawkeye celebrations will originate at Mount Pleasant during the 3rd annual reunion of the Midwest Old Settlers and Threshers Association. The reunion opens September 17th, and next week's Hawkeye celebrations from Mount Pleasant will be heard 1/2 hour earlier at 8:30. In progress at Moravia is the annual Fall Festival, which has attracted exhibits from Appanoose and Monroe County. The Moravia Festival continues through tomorrow, with the tractor rodeo scheduled for tomorrow afternoon as the main attraction. The 15-member volunteer fire department of Dell City, Iowa, is sponsoring a 2-day celebration which closes late tomorrow night. Money raised during this event will be used to purchase a respirator and other equipment for the community's new fire truck. The Dell City celebration is also a thank-you event for the families of that community, and there is a special family prize for the rides and other celebration attractions. Joe Donahue transcribing from Woodford.
This past music you've been listening to is made by Grandma Locke and Grandma Gladys on the piano. This was broadcast over WHO Radio Friday, September the 12th, 1952. Now for some more Grandma's music.
Grandma Locke's Sympathy, Ragtime Lady.